Hello, I hope you're having an amazing day. Today we're going to be getting into side 2 of McCartney, Paul McCartney's album titled McCartney, and we're starting off at track 8, which is side 2, track 1, Ooh You. Ooh. I already love the oohs, which I'm guessing those are important in a song called Ooh You, right? There's a little emphasis on that. I like how we kind of picked up where we left off with side 1, you know, having that very organic, grounded, homemade feel. But even though there's earthiness going on, feels like we're starting to delve a little deeper into rock and roll. Like this feels a little more rock than where we were before. Maybe it's just the expression of the percussion. It feels like this song is very percussively heavy, which is really great and fun. And then it feels like there's this deeper grittiness going on that's a little bit more strong and solid. It feels like we have some distortion coming from electric guitars, which feels very live show-esque. It gives that really thrilling energy. Okay, I just love that growl. I love every time Paul plays with his vocal cords and just kind of shows off a little bit his skill level on 100. And there, I feel like this specific growl goes with what we were mentioning before about how this is a pivotal moment in the album where it feels like we're starting to lean into the rock side of things a little bit more. That growl just emphasizes that rock nature going on and places us right there. Hard not to notice the monotonous nature of this song in terms of the movement of the chords and the instrumentation and all the musicality going down in the instruments. The melody movement feels like it's just this teeter-tottering back and forth between major, well, it feels like there's like an overarching major going on. Like this isn't a very sad, somber song. There's not a lot of eeriness. It's just straightforward what it is, major, and it's going back and forth from major to like a seventh or like some like groovy chord that it allows for this back and forth to keep going on forever without driving us crazy, without sounding like same old, while being able to pull the whole same old, and letting everything unfold in the music while having these steady chords to keep going back and forth too. Very cool. I think that was a great way to start off this side, to kick things off while keeping that spirit alive that was already set forth in side 1. And number 2, we've got Mama Miss America. I just feel like there's something really exciting about a little spoken intro, a few words here and there to kick us off. Okay, so I love the fact that there's keyboards in this. It sounds so good. We have a little bit more mystery and depth going on, which I mentioned was not present in the last song.
I was gonna say lacking, but the last song really didn't lack anything.
But this song is bringing forward a little bit of some mystery, a little bit of minor, a little underworldness, but it is still building off of what was set up in our last track in Ooh You. It's further propelling us into a more rock side than existed in side 1. Oh my gosh. I love the line going down in the bass guitar. It's so good and infectious. It feels so like it's danceable and heartbreaking at the same time. Just it's so perfectly magical and wonderful, and no vocal has been introduced yet. I'm scared to say there isn't going to be a vocal in this song because we know how Paul McCartney loves to trick us, and I really love the use of the percussion in this song. It's used so perfectly to build this tension. There's these transitional moments where it feels like we have this escalation in the percussion alone. It feels like each department is separated into itself. Like we have the guitars and we have the drums and everything all on its own, isolated. So just looking at and focusing on the percussion, it's playing with these dynamics that just kind of get us more and more invested in this story, like put us on the edge of our seats like a cliffhanger and then lets us down, and it's so satisfying and beautiful. Okay, so I love how we've just had a complete and total reset and now we're off into a completely different song. This section is all brand new and it feels like it's been stripped down a little bit and it's a little more folksy. So cool and interesting what just went on there, and I think I interrupted it. I think it's still going on, but there's this call and response action in between the electric guitars and the bass guitar, the way that they're kind of communicating with one another. This back and forth is so interesting, and I feel like I've never heard anything like that before. Such a release of an ending, just this feeling of relief, beautifully executed, and those key slides that went back and forth were very ethereal and otherworldly in nature. Wow. At number 3, we've got Teddy Boy. Right away, I noticed there's this really interesting echoey effect going on that doesn't necessarily sound like reverb to me. It sounds like a more natural or organic way of creating an echo. So the chord changes in this song are so spectacular and unexpected in the best way, as usual for McCartney. But yeah, it feels like we had that minor shift, and that's the first time I was really caught off guard, but then I was like looking for it to happen again. And then when it came around again, I realized it just kind of like tugs at my heartstrings, and then we have a little bit more chord activity and the direction changes a little more and it gets really crazy. I realized this song reminded me of another song. I just couldn't quite place my finger on it, and now it just came to me. Penny Lane, a little bit. Anyone else? I noticed that it feels like there's this sort of muffled effect placed over his voice, but it also kind of sounds like there's doubling. There's like a double voice, but it sounds very far and it sounds masked all at once.
All at the same time.
Another man, he didn't know. Oh no.
I love the response of that minor, the way that it comes through. It almost feels like a parallel minor. It feels like it's just like that same chord just kind of gets sunk down. That's that feeling that I get in that moment. It feels like it's pulling us down emotionally. So maybe it is physically happening that way as well. And then the next 2 chords are like a response to the minor. Like it's like this back and forth battle back into the major, like trying to keep things positive and upbeat.
Found a place where he can settle down from time to time. Don't worry, don't Teddy Boy, take good care of you.
And to get on that broken chord was not what I was expecting again, and so satisfying. I feel so content with this one. I love how each phrase ended on such a satisfying note, left you feeling fed. El número 4 de este lado es Singalong Junk. I understand this is the instrumental version or vocalless version of Junk that was already presented to us in side 1. And so far it's so amazing. This is probably my favorite of all the instrumental tracks that we have on this whole album so far, which is saying a lot because there's a bunch. There's more than normal. And I'm into it. I'm so into it with this one. I actually don't know what I prefer, if I prefer Junk or Singalong Junk, but both of them are some of the most beautiful pieces of music I've heard in a long time. Heartbreaking. I feel like you can really focus more on the melody than before, although the lyrics are really deep as well and provided so much story and context. But here, you kind of go off of the story of your own heart, whatever the music evokes out of you. Chills. I love those build-up moments where we just brought up like this unsettling escalator going up, and then we're finally released onto a higher platform at the end of it. Beautiful. And a thought just occurred to me that didn't occur to me last video round when we listened to Junk. I feel like a song that this really reminds me of is La La Land's City of Stars. And I know this came way before, but a thought occurred to me that maybe this was one of the reference pieces of music, like this was an inspiration behind City of Stars. I just heard a few similarities and parallels that could point to yes. At our penultimate slot, we have Maybe I'm Amazed.
Baby, I'm amazed the way you love me all the time. Baby, I'm a lonely man who's in a...
One moment. Taking it all the way back to the very first note, the opening of this song was really spectacular. I loved that piano. I was so excited for the direction it was heading in. And then it felt like that last note, the last pitches that were struck, unleashed this insane sound,
Propelled us into a whole new world.
and then he decided to switch up on us again, so just 2 times right in a row before the vocals even kicked in, and then all the activity happening down in the piano and in the keys is like a circus. It's like this parade of notes going around, and then the passion and emotion behind the vocal, especially in that second verse, so good. I'm on the verge of tears. No, and then the way he's able to pull it all the way back down, not only, you know, completely controlling and toying with these dynamics and the volume levels, but then the passion behind it. Even when he gets soft and tender, it's still so fierce and there's still so much fire. It's just lowly cooking. That was just such an open, brilliant, bright orchestral sound that could only be coming from, as Pink Floyd knows and does so well, ringing and powerful organ. And that's definitely adding to the grandiosity of this piece in particular. But another thing that, furthers the plot in how spectacular this is, just a whole party or a spectacle of a song, is that each element feels so contrasting to each other. Like the nature of the electric guitars seemed like they wouldn't go so well with some of the softer deliveries of his vocals, or the keys, and the way whenever they're played staccato, it has this ragtime kind of feel, but then they're also then played so legato and smoothly, like a ribbon, or like smearing some caramel on something like butter, so velvety and so slick. Just everything feels like this puzzle piece that wouldn't go together, but then he just threw it all together and baked the greatest cake you've ever tasted. He didn't need to do this to us. He didn't need to do this to me. I'm taking it personally. I mean, he already gave me Junk, and then Singalong Junk, which depending on the day, and it's debatable, but at this very moment I feel like it's superior. But I think maybe I'm just biased towards side 2 at the moment because of maybe I'm amazed. Maybe I'm obsessed. Maybe I'm upset at how amazed I am at this song. Now, of course, I think this song, I've listened to it before. I've heard it like in my life, but I never really sat down and listened to it. It's just been like on in the background. You know how you can't really hear songs that well when they're like playing in the elevator or in a Home Depot. You can't even hear some of the instruments playing, and there's like other sounds and things going on, and it just becomes this background white noise. And now that this has been brought forth, like just to pure focus into this song, I'm so in love with it. Closing out the night, although I'm still not over Maybe I'm Amazed, that's still gonna be like playing in the background of my head, we've got Kreen-Akrore. Don't know if I'm saying that right. I don't know how to pronounce. Kreen-Akrore. It's my best attempt. I love how kind of ominous this is starting out. It feels kind of primitive and just so down to basic human level of forming sound. Then we have some animal sounds. I didn't notice when it was initially struck, but I did notice this like brightness piercing through the sound, like this knife that just ripped through the roundness that was going on before, just bright, sharp. And then those notes that were suspended and glossed over everything else, all the other movement. It's like the song kept on going, but those notes stayed in the same place and just stretched over everything. Made me realize that perhaps our friend, the organ, stuck around from Maybe I'm Amazed. Those vocals were just added in there, just some ahs, some dissonant harmonies sung on ah, and the movement, went further into the depths of dissonance, but it was actually really nice. For some reason, it took a step back from the eerie feeling. At first, I felt like it continued into that eeriness, but then I realized it felt more like this meditative, healing sound, like oh, okay, feels safe, like everything's gonna be okay. And then we had some sense of normalcy, or some melodic normalcy with that guitar. It was really this beautiful tiny segment, and then it was over, and the song isn't over. Wow. The mind of McCartney and the decision he made to end this spectacular album with this song. So genius and strategic and creative, bold. I love it. It sounds like it was probably really fun to make as well. Probably one of those songs is probably even more fun to make and to perform than to listen to. Thank you guys so very much for listening to this brilliant album with me. I had a lot of fun and I appreciate you being here with me. Paul Edwards, Marissa, Dano, Rob K, and Jack. Wanna thank you with all my heart, each and every part. Wishes you joy, love, happiness, light, and everything wonderful in life. I wish magical things come your way every time you open your eyes. I hope that the sunrise greets you warmly. I hope you'll never feel cold or sad again. Thank you. Huge thank you to our heroes from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. It means the absolute world to me and it's so helpful. It's the reason we can keep these videos going, so really this is all thanks to you. I hope you continue to take care of yourselves and to take it easy.